like a lot of teachers, I would have struggled with the new course initially, especially trying to see how it differed from the old curriculum, which, as we know, has been in situ for quite a long time. So for the first few years, I think, especially with the Earth and Space section, did create some difficulties for all of us. And in using the textbooks, just trying to find out, what depth to go into in all the different areas, a bit unsure of ourselves as to where to go with it. I personally think it's the best change in science in many years. I say that because being somebody that did the junior cert and leaving cert in the 80s, this was a time when the term global warming and climate change, those two terms hadn't even been coined. And as we know, these things are the most significant issue in the present world. This course centres around those issues. If I was to pick the main focus of this course, it has to be the whole concept of sustainability of the planet going forward, and the avoidance of further global warming and climate change. So everything we teach really in this course in the 4 strands has got to lead to those points. It has to lead to that bottom block of learning outcomes that you see there coloured in red. Almost every single point that we make in science, regardless of the strands, really has got to point towards those. And I've only come to realise that in the last couple of years, and in writing my book, Science Works, which was published this year in May of 2022. What I've tried to do with the book is I've tried to stick to the learning outcomes and try to keep in mind, in the back of my mind all the time, this concept of sustainability. I'd have to say I have a whole new appreciation now for certainly chemistry and physics, and even the Earth and Space section, and understanding where the Earth came from in the first place, how it operates on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis. And of course, these really important biochemical processes of the water cycle and the carbon cycle, and how we can sustain these things, going forward. Extremely important. The nature of science strand, I think myself, is a series of skills that you would pick up along the way, almost by default, if you like, as you go through the other 4 strands. One of the things that I noticed initially was why are they called biological world, physical world, chemical world, and so on? I wondered why that was. And since I wrote Science Works, I've realised that this entire course is all about the world that we live in. So when we look at biology now, we're not just looking at biology as a topic, as a subsection. We're looking at biology and how it relates to this world and sustainability. Likewise, how does our knowledge of chemistry relate to the world that we live in terms of sustainability of matter? Physical world, how does physics relate to the world that we live in, especially in terms of energy conservation and, trying to avoid energy loss, energy dissipation. So I think to keep the world, our planet Earth in mind at the back of all these strands in our teaching is a real key message in the deliverance of, the underlying messages behind this new course. And in Science Works, I have tried to keep a simple format, plenty of images, plenty of tables, tried to reduce the amount of text on students, tried to make it in such a way that if you were to project an image on a screen, that you should be able to speak about it for a short period of time and give the students an idea of where they're going. And you will find actually that the key concepts keep reappearing in this course over and over again. If you're wondering about trying to plan your year or plan your 3-year program, really this has been done already. in this document behind me. It's already been done, so you don't need to worry about it. Those chapters there in that blue row should be done first as building blocks, and then you move on down the course, finishing in third year with that red band there on sustainability. And every single thing is all moving in towards that red zone. I've devised a poster in conjunction with LetterTech, my publishers, a new poster kind of giving an idea as to where you're going, moving towards sustainability, which I will put up on the landing page when I get a chance. So another thing we're trying to develop over the coming weeks and months is a series of digital aids, slideshows, activity sheets and such like that you can help to support your learning. I've tried this method with my own students for the last couple of years. Prior to Science Works being published, I would have given them information sheets. So for example, there would have been one A3 sheet on biology learning outcome number 1, etc. So they would have had 36 of them altogether. And that would have been the sum total of their course. The actual content volume isn't actually massive because key concepts keep reappearing, especially things like energy and matter, conservation, the law of conservation of mass, the law of conservation of energy, etc. These concepts keep reappearing over and over again. And at the end of the day, if we can bring our students to a point where they have a greater appreciation for the world that we live in and how we're going to try to reverse global warming and avoid further climate change, then your job as a teacher will have been a success and the results in the exam will take care of themselves.